You know that key card you swipe every single day to get into work or your apartment or even the gym? It feels pretty secure, right? Well, the tech behind that simple little swipe has a hidden story, and it's a story that started way back in the 1970s that might just be putting your building at risk today.
So let's just get right to it. Is that piece of plastic in your wallet actually secure, or is it basically a key that almost anyone with a bit of know-how can copy? Well, the answer, and this is the scary part, depends entirely on a protocol you've probably never even heard of.
All right, so let's start with the threat itself. And look, we're not talking about some complex Hollywood-style hacking scene. We're talking about a shockingly simple physical attack that works on the vast majority of access control systems out there right now.
It's called the bleed attack, and it is just as easy as it sounds. Step 1, an attacker literally just unscrews the card reader from the outside wall. Step 2, they clip a tiny, cheap device onto the wires and then screw the reader right back on. Now that little device is just sitting there, silently logging the number of every single card that gets swiped. And finally, the hacker comes back later, grabs all those numbers, and makes a perfect clone. And just like that, they're in.
You know, as security experts point out, the real genius of this attack is just how simple it is. There's no fancy software, no guessing passwords, it's just passive listening. The system is literally shouting the secret key, your card number, to anyone who bothers to put a little microphone on the wire.
So, how on earth is this possible? Well, the problem isn't your card. It's the language the card reader uses to talk to the control panel. That language is called Wiegand, and believe it or not, it was invented back in the 1970s.
And get this isn't some old, forgotten tech. A staggering 80%, that's 80, of access control systems installed today are still using this technology from half a century ago. That means 4 out of every 5 buildings you walk into are probably vulnerable to that exact attack we just talked about. Okay, so here's the core of the problem. Wiegand is a one-way street. The reader just yells the card number down the wire, and the control panel on the other end just listens. There's no back and forth, no hey, are you sure, and most importantly, zero encryption. The data is sent completely in the clear for anyone to grab. And this is what that yelled data actually looks like. It's just a simple string of ones and zeros. You've got a bit on each end for error checking, a facility code in the front, and then boom, right there in the middle, plain as day, is your unique card number. It's not scrambled, it's not hidden, it's just there.
Okay, so thankfully it's not all doom and gloom. The industry has come up with a modern replacement that was designed specifically to fix all of Wiegand's problems. It's called OSDP, which stands for the Open Supervised Device Protocol.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. Where Wiegand is totally unencrypted, OSDP uses AES 128 encryption. That's the same standard your bank uses. Where Wiegand is a dumb one-way shout, OSDP is a smart two-way conversation. And that allows for constant supervision, which means the system knows the instant a reader is tampered with. It's a total game changer.
So let's break down what you actually get with OSDP. That AES 128 encryption, the secure channel, makes that bleed attack totally impossible. A hacker would just get a bunch of scrambled nonsense. The constant supervision means you get a reader offline alert the second it's disconnected, not hours later after someone's already inside. Plus, it's just smarter and more efficient, letting you do things like change the reader's light color with software instead of a dedicated wire.
Okay, that's the theory. But what does all this actually mean in the real world when you're installing and running one of these systems? Let's get practical. You can see the difference right away in the wiring. Wiegand needs a whole bundle of wires. For power, 2 for data, 1 for the LED light, 1 for the buzzer. It's a lot. OSDP is so much cleaner. All it needs is power and a single twisted pair of wires for everything else. All those other functions, like making the buzzer beep, are just handled by secure software commands.
Now, all that intelligence does come with one tiny extra step. Wiegand is basically plug and play. With OSDP, you have to do a quick 2-step setup. You give each reader a unique ID, kind of like a house number on a street, and then you just make sure it's talking at the same speed as the main controller. It takes maybe a minute, and it's what unlocks all that security and functionality.
So let's bring this all home. Why does this alphabet soup of Wiegand and OSDP really matter to you? Well, I think the best way to understand it is with a simple analogy. When you just look at the raw risk, the choice is pretty stark, isn't it? Using Wiegand today is just accepting a really high and honestly a totally unnecessary risk. OSDP was built from the ground up to bring that risk down to basically zero.
So here's the bottom line, the one thing to remember. Wiegand sends your keycard number through the wires like it's written on a postcard. Anyone who happens to grab it along the way can read it. OSDP, on the other hand, puts that same number inside a locked, tamper-proof, securely encrypted digital envelope. Even if someone intercepts it, all they get is gibberish.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? We would never accept our banking info or our private emails being sent unencrypted. So in a world where our physical and digital security are so connected, shouldn't the front door to your building be encrypted too?